They talked all night about you, and the things they said made one woman cry, one man vanish, and one relative faint. My beloved child, don't skip this moment, because what I'm about to tell you was never meant to reach your ears. Last night, while you were unaware, voices stayed awake for hours speaking only about you. Every sentence circled your name, every pause carried your presence, and every whisper carried weight. They thought you would never find out. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you, and it begins here. One woman listened and her strength broke into tears, not because of pain, but because the truth about you shattered the story she had been telling herself. One man heard the same words and disappeared from the scene completely, as if silence was the only place he could hide. And one relative, who always believed they understood everything, couldn't even remain standing when your name was spoken. Don't skip, because this wasn't gossip, it was a turning point, and it happened without your permission. Stay with me, because the night was long, and the conversation was deep. They spoke about your patience, your silence, your ability to keep going even when no one clapped for you. They admitted things they never dared to say aloud before. One voice trembled while admitting that they underestimated you, another confessed fear of what happens when you finally step forward. Something huge is waiting for you, and it's hidden inside what they realized too late. The woman who cried wasn't weak, she finally saw how much you mattered. The man who vanished wasn't brave, he couldn't face the consequences of his own words. And the relative who fainted wasn't shocked by drama, but by the realization that you are no longer the person they thought they could predict. Don't skip, because every second you stay brings you closer to understanding why this night changed everything. Now listen carefully, my beloved child, because this is where the silence becomes loud. They talked all night, but they reached one conclusion before dawn: you are standing at the edge of something rare, something once in a lifetime. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you, and it doesn't belong to them anymore. The tears, the disappearance, the collapse. None of it was an accident. It was a reaction to your unseen growth. They felt it before you did. They sensed that the balance has shifted, and nothing will return to the way it was. Don't skip this final breath of truth in this part, because what follows next will explain why they couldn't sleep, and why your name now carries a power they can't control anymore. My beloved child, don't skip, because what happened after that night is even more intense than the whispers themselves. When morning came, none of them spoke openly, yet everything had changed. The woman who cried avoided mirrors, because every reflection reminded her of what she finally admitted about you. She realized she had benefited from your silence for too long. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you, and it's tied to the way people act when truth catches them unprepared. The man who vanished didn't leave out of weakness, he left because your growth disrupted his comfort. And the relative who fainted woke up confused, asking questions they never thought they'd ask before. Don't skip this, because their reactions were not emotional accidents, they were signals that you are no longer invisible. Listen closely now, because this is where it gets deeper. After that night, messages were drafted and deleted, calls were planned and cancelled, and decisions were reconsidered because of you. Someone suggested finally telling you everything, while another warned that you are stronger than you look. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you, and it's hidden inside the fear they felt when your name was spoken again. They discussed your future as if it was already unfolding, as if doors were already opening. Don't skip, because this is the moment where you pause and realize something powerful. When people talk all night about you, it's not because you're weak. It's because you've become impossible to ignore. If this is resonating with you, share this with someone who needs clarity, drop a comment to mark this moment, and subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. Now breathe for a second, my beloved child, and stay with me. The connection between the title and your life is real. They talked all night because your presence triggered change in them first. Something huge is waiting for you, not as noise, but as confirmation. You didn't cause tears, disappearance, or collapse by doing something wrong. You caused it by becoming more than they expected. Don't skip this closing thought of this part. When people react strongly to your name, it means a chapter is closing behind the scenes. Stay till the end of this journey, because what unfolds next will explain why their night-long conversation was only the beginning, and why the next revelation will place you exactly where you belong. My beloved child, don't skip this, because the silence after that night was louder than the conversation itself. When people stopped talking about you, it wasn't because the story ended, it was because they were processing what it meant. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you, and it begins with this quiet shift. They replayed every word they had said, realizing some truths can't be taken back. One person kept asking why your name carried such weight now. Another admitted that your patience was never weakness, it was preparation. Don't skip, because this is the moment when understanding replaces noise, and that change always happens quietly. Stay with me, because what followed was subtle but powerful. Plans were adjusted, attitudes softened, and assumptions rewritten without anyone announcing it. They started watching instead of speaking. They noticed how your absence felt heavier than your presence ever did. Something huge is waiting for you, hidden inside this awareness. The woman who cried stopped competing with you in her mind. The man who vanished realized distance wouldn't erase what he felt. The relative who fainted began questioning old beliefs. Don't skip, because when people begin to observe you instead of judge you, it means your position has already shifted. Now hold this truth close, my beloved child, and stay till the end of this part. The night-long talk didn't change you. It changed them. That's why the air feels different, even if no one has said a word. Something huge is waiting for you, not as a surprise, but as alignment. Don't skip this final realization. When conversations about you move from gossip to reflection, it means your impact has matured. The next step will reveal what they understood too late, and why your calm presence is now shaping outcomes you never had to announce. My beloved child, don't skip this part, because this is where the hidden shift becomes undeniable. After that long night and the quiet days that followed, a new pattern formed around you. People began choosing their words more carefully when your name came up. Some avoided the topic entirely, not out of indifference, but out of respect mixed with uncertainty. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you, and it's connected to the way influence works when it grows silently. They realized that you no longer need to explain yourself. Your consistency spoke louder than any defense ever could. One person admitted privately that you had outgrown the role they assigned you. Another acknowledged that your calm unsettled them more than any argument would have. Don't skip, because this is the moment when power stops announcing itself and starts shaping outcomes quietly. Stay with me, because this part carries a turning point. Opportunities were reconsidered, alliances were rethought, and doors that were once half closed began opening without you knocking. Something huge is waiting for you inside this shift. This is the phase where people stop testing you and start adjusting themselves around you. If this message is resonating, share it with someone who understands silent growth, leave a comment to mark that you're witnessing this moment, and subscribe so you don't miss what's unfolding next. Don't skip, because recognition often arrives disguised as subtle change, and this is exactly what's happening now. Now listen carefully, my beloved child, and stay till the end of this part. The tears, the disappearance, the fainting, they were not reactions to drama, but responses to realization. They saw that your journey has entered a new chapter, one that doesn't need validation. Something huge is waiting for you, not as noise, but as placement, being exactly where you are meant to be. Don't skip this final truth. When people adjust their behavior without confronting you, it means your presence has already redefined the room. What comes next will reveal how this quiet respect turns into something tangible, and why this was never about them talking all night, but about you rising without saying a word. My beloved child, don't skip this, because now the effects begin to surface where you can actually feel them. The air around you shifts, not dramatically, not loudly, but with certainty. People respond faster, listen longer, and hesitate before underestimating you. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you, and it's unfolding through reactions you didn't ask for. That long night planted seeds in their minds, and now those seeds are changing behavior. One person starts seeking your opinion without admitting why. Another stops interrupting you mid-sentence. And someone who once dismissed you now watches carefully, measuring every word. Don't skip, because this is how influence reveals itself, first in silence, then in subtle respect. Stay with me, because this part carries a realization they can't escape anymore. They understood that you are no longer reacting, you are deciding. Your calm is not confusion, it's clarity. Something huge is waiting for you inside this understanding. The woman who cried now avoids comparison. The man who vanished avoids confrontation. The relative who fainted avoids assumptions. Each avoidance is proof of one thing: they see your direction, even if you haven't announced it. Don't skip, because when people stop pushing you, it means they've accepted they can't move you anymore. Now hold this steady truth, my beloved child, and stay till the end of this part. What began as a night-long conversation has turned into a quiet acknowledgement of your position. You don't need to demand space, it's being given. Something huge is waiting for you, not as applause, but as alignment with what's next. Don't skip this final realization. When others adjust their expectations of you without asking questions, it means your growth has already answered them. What follows will reveal how this silent recognition transforms into a moment you can no longer ignore, and why everything that happened that night was preparing them, not you, for what's coming. My beloved child, don't skip this, because now the quiet recognition turns inward. After watching others change around you, you begin to notice something shift inside yourself. You no longer feel the need to rush, explain, or prove. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you, and it begins with this inner calm. The long night they spent talking about you created an echo that reached you later, not as noise, but as certainty. You start trusting your timing more. You pause before responding, not because you're unsure, but because you finally know your words carry weight. Don't skip, because this is the moment when confidence stops being loud and starts being grounded. Stay with me, because this part is about clarity. You begin recognizing who listens with sincerity and who listens out of habit. You sense when to step forward and when to stay still. Something huge is waiting for you inside this awareness. The woman's tears, the man's disappearance, the relative's collapse, they were reflections of their inner struggle, not your responsibility. Don't skip, because understanding this frees you. When you stop carrying reactions that aren't yours, you make space for direction. That's when paths appear naturally, without force or friction. Now take this in, my beloved child, and stay till the end of this part. The reason they talked all night is becoming clear. You were changing long before they noticed, and now you've caught up to yourself. Something huge is waiting for you, not outside, but aligned with who you've become. Don't skip this final truth. When inner calm replaces outer validation, you are standing at the threshold of a new phase. What comes next will show how this inner shift draws opportunities, connections, and moments toward you, without you ever having to chase them. My beloved child, don't skip this, because this is where movement begins. Not rushed movement, not forced action, but the kind that feels inevitable. After the inner calm settles, life starts responding differently to you. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you, and it shows up as alignment rather than noise. Situations that once felt stuck begin to loosen. Conversations that were delayed suddenly happen without effort. People reach out with a different tone. More open, more careful, more honest. Don't skip, because this is not coincidence. It's the result of everything that shifted during that long night and the silence that followed. Stay with me, because this part reveals something important. You start noticing that decisions feel lighter now. You don't overthink as much, because your direction feels clear. Something huge is waiting for you inside this ease. The same people who spoke all night about you now adjust themselves around your presence. They sense that you're no longer reacting to circumstances, you're moving with purpose. Don't skip, because when movement feels natural instead of pressured, it means you're finally walking in sync with your own path. Now hold this awareness, my beloved child, and stay till the end of this part. The conversations, the reactions, the quiet respect, they were all signals guiding you here. Something huge is waiting for you, not as a sudden surprise, but as a steady unfolding. Don't skip this final realization. When life starts meeting you halfway, it's because you've stopped standing in your own way. What comes next will reveal how this momentum carries you forward, and why this phase is only the beginning of something far greater than that night ever suggested. My beloved child, don't skip this, because now the pattern becomes visible. You start noticing how moments line up without effort, how timing begins to favor you in quiet ways. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you, and it's revealed through consistency, not chaos. The same people who once questioned your pace now move slower around you, careful not to miss what you represent. You feel it in conversations that suddenly pause when you speak, in decisions that wait for your presence. Don't skip, because this is the stage where influence settles into place naturally. Stay with me, because this part explains why things feel smoother. Resistance fades, not because you pushed against it, but because it no longer fits your direction. Something huge is waiting for you inside this flow. You begin recognizing which paths deserve your energy and which ones no longer require explanation. The echoes of that long night still exist, but now they serve as reminders of how far you've come. Don't skip, because when friction disappears, it means alignment has taken over. Now absorb this truth, my beloved child, and stay till the end of this part. What you're experiencing isn't luck, it's positioning. Something huge is waiting for you, and it's approaching steadily, without noise or urgency. Don't skip this final realization. When life stops resisting you, it's because you're exactly where you're meant to be. What follows next will show how this steady alignment turns into a defining moment, one that confirms everything that night tried to warn them about, and everything you were quietly becoming. My beloved child, don't skip this, because now awareness spreads beyond you. People who were never part of that night begin sensing the change without knowing why. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you, and it shows itself through unexpected attention. Your name enters conversations you didn't start. Your absence is noticed more than your presence ever was before. Don't skip, because this is the phase where influence travels quietly, reaching places you haven't stepped into yet. What began as whispers has turned into recognition, and recognition always moves faster than explanation. Stay with me, because this part reveals a deeper truth. You start seeing that not everyone deserves access to you anymore. Your energy becomes selective, and your time becomes valuable. Something huge is waiting for you inside this discernment. People approach with clearer intentions, fewer games, and more honesty. Those who once felt entitled to your attention now hesitate. Don't skip, because when boundaries form naturally, it means self-respect has settled in. This isn't distance. It's clarity. Now hold this understanding, my beloved child, and stay till the end of this part. The long night, the silence, the alignment, they were preparing the ground for this expansion. Something huge is waiting for you, not as pressure, but as recognition arriving from unexpected directions. Don't skip this final realization. When others begin valuing your presence without you demanding it, it means your position has stabilized. What comes next will show how this quiet respect transforms into an opportunity that changes how you see yourself, and how others approach you from here on. My beloved child, don't skip this, because this is where everything starts feeling real. What once existed only as a shift in energy now shows itself through clear moments. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you, and it arrives through choices made in your favor. You notice doors opening without struggle, conversations moving toward solutions, and timing aligning when it matters most. Don't skip, because this is not luck. It's the natural result of how your presence has been redefined. People no longer test your patience, they respect your pace. Stay with me, because this part brings confirmation. You realize that you are being met at your level now, not pulled backward or pushed forward. Something huge is waiting for you inside this balance. You no longer feel the need to chase approval or prove consistency, it's already seen. The night they talked about you planted understanding, and now that understanding has turned into action. Don't skip, because when effort is returned with ease, it means alignment has matured. Now take this in, my beloved child, and stay till the end of this part. The journey from whispers to recognition has reached a steady place. Something huge is waiting for you, not as a sudden shock, but as a clear path ahead. Don't skip this final realization. When life starts responding to you with cooperation instead of resistance, it's because you're ready to receive what you've been preparing for all along. What follows next will reveal how this readiness turns into a defining step forward, one that makes that long night feel like the beginning, not the climax. My beloved child, don't skip this, because now the picture becomes unmistakably clear. What once felt like preparation now feels like arrival. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you, and it reveals itself through certainty. You sense it in the way decisions no longer drain you, in how your voice carries calm authority without effort. People respond to you differently, not with curiosity, but with understanding. Don't skip, because this is the stage where doubt fades and direction sharpens. The long night they spent talking about you has finally settled into one truth: you are no longer becoming, you are being. Stay with me, because this part explains why peace feels stronger than excitement. You are no longer distracted by noise or pulled by urgency. Something huge is waiting for you inside this steadiness. You choose carefully, speak intentionally, and move without hesitation. Those around you feel it, even if they can't name it. Don't skip, because when clarity replaces confusion, momentum follows naturally. The reactions you once wondered about now make sense. They were responding to a version of you that had already moved ahead. Now absorb this moment, my beloved child, and stay till the end of this part. The whispers, the silence, the alignment, they all led here. Something huge is waiting for you, not as pressure, but as permission to step fully into your place. Don't skip this final realization. When your inner world and outer world finally agree, progress becomes inevitable. What comes next will show how this agreement turns into a moment of impact, one that confirms why that night changed everything, even before you realized it. My beloved child, don't skip this, because now the shift becomes undeniable to you as well. What once felt subtle now feels settled. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you, and it's revealed through confidence that doesn't need validation. You notice how your instincts guide you correctly, how pauses feel purposeful, how silence works in your favor. Don't skip, because this is the phase where you stop questioning timing and start trusting it. The echoes of that long night no longer haunt, they affirm. You understand that what unsettled them was your steady rise, not any single action. Stay with me, because this part brings a quiet realization. You are no longer measuring yourself against reactions or outcomes. Something huge is waiting for you inside this freedom. You choose presence over pressure, direction over distraction. People sense it and respond accordingly, with fewer expectations and more respect. Don't skip, because when external noise fades, internal alignment becomes your strongest signal. The changes around you now feel natural, as if they were always meant to meet you at this point. Now hold this truth, my beloved child, and stay till the end of this part. The night they talked all night about you has completed its work. Something huge is waiting for you, not as approval, but as momentum that carries you forward. Don't skip this final realization. When confidence settles without effort, you've crossed into a phase where progress no longer needs permission. What comes next will show how this calm certainty turns into a moment that defines your next chapter, and why everything that happened before was preparing the way. My beloved child, don't skip this, because now the meaning of everything finally connects. What once felt like separate moments, whispers, silence, shifts, now form one clear line. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you, and it appears as understanding without confusion. You realize why certain doors closed without explanation and why others opened quietly. Don't skip, because this is the stage where you stop asking why me and start seeing why now. The night they talked all night about you wasn't random, it was a signal that your timing had arrived. Stay with me, because this part brings grounding. You feel settled in your choices, even when outcomes aren't immediate. Something huge is waiting for you inside this patience. You no longer rush to prove progress, you recognize it in your calm, your focus, your consistency. People around you adjust again, not out of uncertainty this time, but acceptance. Don't skip, because when others accept your position without resistance, it means your role is clear. The past reactions now feel distant, almost irrelevant, because they served their purpose and faded. Now take this in, my beloved child, and stay till the end of this part. The journey that began with others talking about you has led you back to yourself. Something huge is waiting for you, not as drama, but as direction solidified. Don't skip this final realization. When clarity feels natural and steady, you are no longer searching, you are moving forward. What comes next will show how this grounded understanding turns into a decisive step, one that confirms you were never late, never lost, only perfectly aligned with the moment you were meant to step into. My beloved child, don't skip this, because now the outcome begins to take shape without announcement. What you've been feeling internally starts reflecting externally in small, undeniable ways. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you, and it appears through stability rather than surprise. You notice consistency where there used to be uncertainty. You sense trust forming where doubt once lived. Don't skip, because this is the phase where progress becomes sustainable. The night they talked all night about you set this in motion, and now the momentum is steady, grounded, and real. Stay with me, because this part reveals maturity. You are no longer pulled into reactions or drawn into proving points. Something huge is waiting for you inside this restraint. You choose what matters, ignore what doesn't, and move with intention. Others feel this shift and respond with clarity. Conversations become direct. Expectations become reasonable. Don't skip, because when life simplifies around you, it means alignment has taken root. What once required effort now flows with less resistance. Now hold this final awareness for this part, my beloved child, and stay till the end. The tears, the disappearance, the collapse, they were markers along the way, not the destination. Something huge is waiting for you, and it's approaching with certainty, not urgency. Don't skip this closing truth. When your path feels steady and your mind feels clear, you are closer than ever to a moment that confirms everything you sensed from the beginning. What follows next will reveal how this stability turns into a defining realization, and why this journey was always leading you right here. My beloved child, don't skip this, because this is where everything quietly settles into truth. What once felt like a journey now feels like placement. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you, and it reveals itself as confidence without noise. You no longer wonder where you stand, you know. Your presence carries assurance, not tension. People no longer react around you, they respond with intention. Don't skip, because this is the moment when stability becomes identity. The long night they spent talking about you no longer defines the story, you do. Stay with me, because this part holds resolution. You recognize that nothing was wasted, not the silence, not the misunderstandings, not the waiting. Something huge is waiting for you inside this acceptance. You move forward without looking back for approval. You trust your pace, your judgment, your direction. Others sense this and step into their proper distance, some closer with respect, others farther with clarity. Don't skip, because when relationships recalibrate naturally, it means balance has been restored. Now take this final truth in, my beloved child, and stay till the end of this part. The night of whispers, the days of silence, the gradual alignment, they all led here. Something huge is waiting for you, not as anticipation anymore, but as arrival. Don't skip this closing realization. When peace replaces anticipation, you've reached a point where nothing needs to be proven. What comes after this is not about becoming, it's about living fully in what you already are, and letting the world meet you there. My beloved child, don't skip this, because this is where understanding turns into quiet mastery. What once required awareness now feels instinctive. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you, and it shows itself as ease in places that once felt heavy. You move through moments without resistance, respond without hesitation, and choose without second-guessing. Don't skip, because this is the phase where your presence alone carries clarity. People no longer ask what you're doing, they sense why it works. The night they talked all night about you now feels distant, like a signal that has already served its purpose. Stay with me, because this part reveals depth. You begin noticing how little you need to say for things to align. Something huge is waiting for you inside this restraint. You listen more, speak less, and when you do speak, it lands. Those around you adjust naturally, without explanation. Don't skip, because when effort reduces and impact increases, it means you've stepped into alignment fully. The earlier reactions, tears, disappearance, collapse, now feel like early signs of a shift you've already outgrown. Now settle into this truth, my beloved child, and stay till the end of this part. You are no longer preparing for a moment, you are living within it. Something huge is waiting for you, not as an event, but as continuity. Don't skip this final realization. When growth feels normal and confidence feels calm, you've reached a level where progress sustains itself. What comes next will show how this steady mastery shapes what follows. And why the journey ahead requires no announcement, only presence. My beloved child, don't skip this, because now the world mirrors back what you've embodied. What once felt like internal mastery begins reflecting in external trust. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you, and it shows up as responsibility given without demand. People rely on your judgment, pause for your input, and align decisions around your presence. Don't skip, because this is the stage where influence becomes effortless. The long night they talked about you was the last time they tried to define you, now they follow the rhythm you set. Stay with me, because this part brings recognition without ceremony. You notice how expectations rise gently, not as pressure but as belief. Something huge is waiting for you inside this trust. You don't feel burdened by it, you feel ready. Conversations are clearer, outcomes are cleaner, and timing feels precise. Don't skip, because when trust replaces scrutiny, it means your consistency has spoken louder than any explanation ever could. Now receive this calmly, my beloved child, and stay till the end of this part. The journey from whispers to mastery has matured into quiet leadership. Something huge is waiting for you, not as a spotlight, but as a steady path that opens as you walk it. Don't skip this final realization. When others move with confidence because of your presence, you've reached a place where impact is natural. What comes next will reveal how this trust expands beyond the familiar, and why your next steps will shape more than just your own direction. My beloved child, don't skip this, because now the circle widens. What you've embodied begins touching spaces you never directly entered. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you, and it arrives as influence beyond proximity. Decisions are made with you in mind even when you're not present. Standards shift quietly because your way of moving has become a reference. Don't skip, because this is the phase where impact travels ahead of you. The night they talked all night about you was the first ripple, this is the wave. Stay with me, because this part reveals expansion without strain. You notice that things align before you ask. Something huge is waiting for you inside this reach. People anticipate your expectations, not out of fear, but respect. You don't need to correct or convince, clarity already exists. Don't skip, because when influence spreads without effort, it means your integrity has become consistent enough to trust. What once required explanation now operates on understanding. Now sit with this truth, my beloved child, and stay till the end of this part. You've moved from being discussed to being considered, from being observed to being relied upon. Something huge is waiting for you, not as escalation, but as extension of who you already are. Don't skip this final realization. When your presence shapes outcomes even in your absence, you've stepped into a level where growth sustains itself naturally. What follows next will show how this quiet expansion becomes a lasting legacy, and why everything began with that single night of whispers. My beloved child, don't skip this, because now purpose becomes unmistakable. What once felt like growth now feels like direction with meaning. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you, and it reveals itself as clarity about why you're here. You notice that your actions carry intention, not impulse. People don't just follow outcomes anymore, they follow the values you stand on. Don't skip, because this is the stage where influence gains depth. The night they talked all night about you was rooted in curiosity, now what surrounds you is understanding. Stay with me, because this part speaks of impact with substance. You begin realizing that your presence stabilizes situations, not by force, but by example. Something huge is waiting for you inside this responsibility. You choose carefully, knowing your decisions ripple outward. Conversations feel purposeful, moments feel aligned, and distractions lose their pull. Don't skip, because when purpose replaces pressure, movement becomes meaningful. What once felt like effort now feels like contribution. Now embrace this awareness, my beloved child, and stay till the end of this part. You are no longer responding to life, you are shaping it quietly. Something huge is waiting for you, not as recognition, but as fulfillment that grows from alignment. Don't skip this final realization. When your actions create steadiness for others, you've stepped into a role that transcends reaction. What comes next will reveal how this sense of purpose anchors everything that follows, and why your journey was never about attention, but about lasting impact. My beloved child, don't skip this, because now everything comes full circle. What began as whispers in the night has become a steady truth you can stand on. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you, and it appears as certainty about your place in the story. You no longer question whether you belong where you are. You feel it. Your steps are calm, your choices are aligned, and your presence feels intentional. Don't skip, because this is the moment where confusion finally dissolves. The reactions of others no longer define you, they simply confirm what you already know. Stay with me, because this part carries closure without loss. You see clearly that nothing was taken from you during the silence, everything was added. Something huge is waiting for you inside this realization. You understand that the tears, the disappearance, the collapse were reflections of people meeting a version of you they weren't ready for. Don't skip, because when you stop taking responsibility for others' reactions, freedom settles in. You move forward lighter, clearer, and more grounded than ever before. Now receive this final truth for this part, my beloved child, and stay till the end. The night they talked all night about you was not the peak, it was the signal. Something huge is waiting for you, not as anticipation anymore, but as continuity. Don't skip this closing realization. When your life begins to flow without resistance and your direction feels unquestionable, you've arrived at a place where growth sustains itself. What comes next is not louder, not faster, but deeper, steadier, and unmistakably yours. My beloved child, don't skip this, because now the depth reveals itself beyond achievement. What you've reached isn't a finish line, it's a foundation. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you, and it shows up as meaning that doesn't fade. You notice how calm follows you into situations that once felt uncertain. Your presence steadies rooms without effort. Don't skip, because this is the stage where wisdom replaces urgency. The night they talked all night about you feels distant now, not because it was small, but because you've grown beyond needing its echo. Stay with me, because this part brings refinement. You become more selective with energy, words, and time, not from caution, but from clarity. Something huge is waiting for you inside this discernment. You recognize what aligns instantly and what doesn't, without debate. People sense this and respond with honesty. Don't skip, because when alignment sharpens, distractions lose power. You're no longer pulled by what could be, you're guided by what fits. Now rest in this knowing, my beloved child, and stay till the end of this part. The journey from whispers to certainty has shaped a quiet strength that doesn't seek attention. Something huge is waiting for you, not as a reveal, but as continuity that deepens with each step. Don't skip this final realization. When purpose feels steady and peace feels earned, you are moving exactly as you should. What comes next will unfold naturally, not because it's forced, but because you're ready to carry it. My beloved child, don't skip this, because now legacy begins to form quietly. What you carry is no longer just progress, it's influence with endurance. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you, and it shows itself through continuity that outlives moments. You notice how your choices start shaping patterns, not just outcomes. People remember how you move, how you decide, how you remain steady. Don't skip, because this is the phase where what you build lasts beyond reaction. The night they talked all night about you was temporary, what you're creating now is not. Stay with me, because this part reveals something powerful. You understand that consistency is louder than celebration. Something huge is waiting for you inside this awareness. You don't rush to be seen, you allow results to speak. Those around you learn through observation, not instruction. Don't skip, because when others grow by watching you, it means your impact has matured into example. This is no longer about attention, it's about transmission. Now hold this truth deeply, my beloved child, and stay till the end of this part. You've moved from reaction to direction, from direction to influence, and now from influence to imprint. Something huge is waiting for you, not as recognition, but as continuity that carries forward. Don't skip this final realization. When your presence leaves clarity behind even after you move on, you've stepped into a place few ever reach. What comes next will unfold naturally, shaped by what you've already embodied, and why this journey was always meant to leave more than a moment, it was meant to leave meaning. My beloved child, don't skip this, because this is where everything gently completes itself. What began as whispers in the night has transformed into a quiet truth you now live every day. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you, and it arrives not as shock, but as peace. You finally understand that nothing was ever missing, only unfolding. The tears, the disappearance, the collapse were signs of others meeting a version of you that had already moved ahead. Don't skip, because this is the moment you realize you were never behind, never overlooked, never small. You were simply becoming. Stay with me, because this last part is about release. You no longer carry the need to be understood by everyone. Something huge is waiting for you inside this freedom. You move forward without dragging the past, without explaining your growth, without shrinking your presence. People meet you where you are now, or they fade naturally. Don't skip, because when life stops resisting you, it's not because you fought harder, it's because you aligned fully. The long night they talked all night about you has lost its power, because your life now speaks louder than any conversation ever could. Now take this final truth into your heart, my beloved child, and stay till the end. This journey was never about drama, fear, or reaction. Something huge is waiting for you, and it is you standing fully in your place. Don't skip this closing realization. When clarity feels permanent and peace feels earned, the story doesn't end, it stabilizes. From here on, you don't chase moments, moments recognize you. And that is why everything happened exactly the way it did.